Hello everyone, welcome back to Literature and Language Launch. Have you ever been afraid to try something new? Maybe riding a bicycle, speaking on stage, or learning to swim. Fear is natural, but what if your fear stops you from discovering your true potential? Today's chapter, His First Flight, beautifully teaches us that courage is not the absence of fear, it is overcoming fear. Written by Liam O'Flaherty. This inspiring story shows how a young seagull finally learns to fly by believing in himself. So, without wasting any time, let's first understand the background of the story. His First Flight is written by the famous Irish writer Liam O'Flaherty. The story is an animal fable that reflects human emotions through the life of a seagull. Although birds are naturally born to fly, a young seagull is terrified of taking his first flight. His fear represents the hesitation every human experiences before facing a new challenge. Through this simple yet meaningful story, the author teaches that self confidence, determination, and a little encouragement can help us overcome even our greatest fears. The story is not merely about a bird, it is about every person who struggles with fear before achieving success. Now that we understood the background and the author's purpose, let's move on to the introduction of the chapter. His first flight is the first story in the chapter, Two Stories About Flying. It is an inspiring tale about a young seagull who is afraid of flying. While his brothers and sisters confidently fly with their parents, he remains alone on the ledge because he fears that his wings will not support him. His parents encourage him to fly, but he lacks confidence. Finally, hunger forces him to overcome his fear and he discovers that he could fly all along. The story highlights the importance of courage, confidence, determination, and family encouragement. Now that we have understood the basic idea of the chapter, let's look at the overall storyline through the overview. The story revolves around a young seagull who is afraid of taking his first flight. Unlike his siblings, he refuses to fly because he believes that his wings are too weak. His parents repeatedly encourage him, but he remains frightened. Eventually, they stopped feeding him in order to motivate him to become independent. Hungry and desperate, the young seagull watches his mother holding a piece of fish. As he jumps towards the food, he suddenly spreads his wings. To his surprise, he does not fall. Instead, he begins flying confidently. His family celebrates his success, and the young seagull realizes that fear had existed only in his mind. That was the overall story. Now let's understand every important event in detail through the detailed summary. The story begins with a young seagull sitting alone on the edge of the cliff. Unlike his brothers and sisters, he refuses to fly because he is afraid that his wings will not support him. His siblings have already learned to fly and proudly soar through the sky. His parents encourage him again and again, but he remains frightened. They scold him for being cowardly and refuse to feed him until he learns to fly. The young seagull spends the entire day alone. He watches his family flying freely, diving into the sea, catching fish, and enjoying themselves. Meanwhile, he becomes extremely hungry. As time passes, his hunger becomes unbearable. He desperately hopes that someone will bring him food. Then he notices his mother standing on a nearby rock with a delicious piece of fish in her beak. His mouth waters. He cries loudly and begs her to feed him. His mother slowly comes closer and suddenly stops just beyond his reach. Unable to control his hunger, the young seagull jumps forward to grab the fish. For a moment, he believes that he is falling. Out of fear, he instinctively spreads his wings. To his surprise, his wings catch the air. Instead of falling, he begins gliding smoothly through the sky. Soon he gains confidence. He flaps his wings strongly and flies higher and faster than before. His fear completely disappears. His parents, brothers, sister happily fly around him. They encourage him and praise his achievement. Finally, they all land on sea together. At first, the seagull fears that he will drown. However, he soon realizes that the sea supports him. His family offers him fish as a reward for his successful first flight. The young seagull finally understands that courage and confidence are the keys to success. Now that we have completed the story, let's understand the valuable lesson that the author wants every reader to learn. His first flight is much more than the story of a young bird learning to fly. It is a timeless lesson about overcoming fear, believing in ourselves, and stepping out of our comfort zone. The story teaches us that fear is often imaginary, while success comes to those who dare to take the first flight. With confidence, determination, and encouragement, every challenge can be conquered. So, dear students, thank you so much for watching. If you found this explanation helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Literature and Language Launch for more classes of 10th CBSE English lessons. Detailed summaries, character sketches, themes, important questions, and exam oriented explanation. See you in the next video. Happy learning.